Welcome to GameStop TV.
Yes, welcome. If you love video games, you're in the right place because so do we.
I'm Marisha.
And I'm Chris.
And it's February, which means it's time to celebrate groundhogs and presidents and Chinese New Year's and, of course, love. Oh, and it's also time to do your taxes.
Yeah, you know, I've actually changed my tune on taxes.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to tax season. Yeah, you get a refund, man.
That's true.
We got all these great games coming out in February and March, and so I know where I'm spending my refund now.
Yeah, you and me both, actually. And speaking of games, let's check out some of the new games coming out in the next couple of months. How about a little action-adventure to start?
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
It's been more than 2 years since Yakuza 5 released in the US, and although last year's Yakuza 0 went a long way to hold us over, the time has finally come to continue the story of Kazuma Kiryu in Yakuza 6. After spending the last couple years in jail, Kiryu returns home to find that his daughter is in a coma. Well, she's not actually his daughter, but it's complicated. He also finds out that he's very recently become a grandfather. Again, also complicated. So, Kiryu takes the child and sets out to investigate what happened to his daughter. Of course, by investigate, I mostly mean he's going to put a serious beat down on everyone in his path. In addition to third-person action, you'll explore a huge and beautifully detailed open world, and along the way you'll find all the distractions you might expect a high-level Yakuza to partake in, like karaoke, darts, dating, and going to the gym. There are also some pretty unconventional minigames to check out, like cat cafes, spear fishing, and video game arcades, featuring full playable versions of games like Virtua Fighter 5, Outrun, Space Harrier, and Fantasy Zone.
Take to the high seas in a swashbuckling adventure unlike anything you've ever played before in Sea of Thieves. Created by Rare, the iconic developer of classic series like Donkey Kong Country, Killer Instinct, Banjo-Kazooie, and many more, Sea of Thieves is a multiplayer shared world adventure that offers players an opportunity to live their ultimate pirate dreams. Sail, fight, pillage, fight the skeletons of cursed former crew members, sing yo-ho, and do all the things that pirates do as you embark on epic quests, collect loot, and engage in combat with other players. Now here's the really cool thing about Sea of Thieves though. Unlike traditional games, there are no set roles that players have to choose from and stick to. Set out on your own or join a group of friends and cooperate to crew your own ship, steering, hoisting sails, navigating, firing cannons, and so much more. Explore land, sea, and even below the sea, and along the way you'll encounter other crews of players. Will they be friendly, or will you find yourself in a ship-to-ship pirate battle? Every encounter is different and unpredictable. Amass treasure, customize your ship and yourself, and build a reputation because it's time to create a pirate legend of your own in Sea of Thieves.
I thought you did an absolutely fabulous job on that one.
Thank you. I'm really
you were like so into it behind the scenes.
I really just feel the pirate life.
I know. I feel like we missed the show here, guys. Yeah. It was right here.
It's just in me,
you know? Released more than a decade ago for the PlayStation 2, Shadow of the Colossus broke from the conventions of gaming at the time. As much a work of digital art as it was an enthralling adventure, the game pitted players against towering monsters armed with nothing more than a sword and bow. Every stage was a test of skill, wit, and determination as you scaled each Colossus and figured out how to defeat them.
Now, Shadow of the Colossus returns, completely rebuilt from the ground up for the PS4, and better than ever. Here's Ashley Jenkins from The Know to tell you everything you need to know about this highly anticipated remake.
What's up, GameStop? I'm Ashley from The Know, and one of the biggest games coming out this month is none other than Shadow of the Colossus for PlayStation 4. If you missed this game when it hit PS2 back in 2005, here's everything you need to know. The original Shadow of the Colossus is more than 12 years old now, and it's now considered to be one of the greatest games of all time. It told the story of a young man named Wander who has to defeat 16 giant colossi so he can bring a young girl back to life. The game was revolutionary at the time, in part for what it didn't have. There were no towns or dungeons to explore, there weren't any enemies to beat other than the 16 giant bosses. And to beat those massive bosses, it required figuring out their individual weaknesses and exploiting them. The Colossi they challenged traditional game design by combining level and puzzle and boss all in one and really shedding any other distractions. That's one of the things that made this game unique then, and it remains pretty unique today. Oh, and there's also almost no dialogue at all, which again was pretty revolutionary. We're kind of used to it with a lot of Team Eco games now, but it was at the time really, really unique, and yet the game still managed to tell a poignant story of love and death and sacrifice. Critics loved Shadow of the Colossus back in 2005. It won tons of awards for its unique storytelling as well as its audio and overall design. It's often one of the games that people point to during those debates over whether or not video games should be considered art. As for the remake, it's being handled by Sony Interactive Entertainment's Japan studio, which has also worked on games like Bloodborne and Gravity Rush with an assist from Bluepoint Games, which produced the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collection for the PlayStation 3. Sony Worldwide Studios president Shuhei Yoshida told Famitsu that while the content will all be the same, all of the assets from the original game will be remade. And despite the legendary frame rate issues of the original, this one reportedly hits a solid buttery 60 frames per second. But that doesn't mean there won't be a few tweaks to bring the game into the new era. Yoshida said of the remake, "It's the same, but player preferences for controls and such change over time, so we're working on implementing a more modernized way to play. And of course, you can play with the feel of the original version, but what we're doing is showing how great the original work is using today's technology." That's a bonus for both new and existing players. If you played it on PS2, you probably thought at the time it was one of the most beautiful games seen on the hardware. These days, even though that charm is still there, that game still looks the same, well, PS2 graphics are a little bit dated now. Recreating the assets entirely means the developers aren't working within the limitations of old tech. They've added new technical enhancements like including reactive foliage, realistic water physics, and dynamic lighting that really enhance the scale you get while playing the game. And this game, it's all about scale. If you're worried about the new assets, meaning it's not gonna feel like Shadow of the Colossus that so many of us already know and love, well, it does. Sometimes, great thing. The game plays very much the same, the excitement is all there, but so are a few of the downsides you should be aware of, like the camera occasionally causing trouble at the most inconvenient times, or your horse being kind of a pain to control as well, just occasionally, but a lot of it's been smoothed out and tweaked. It still feels very much the same though. Shadow of the Colossus is out this month, hitting shelves on February 6th exclusively for PlayStation 4. For more information about the game and all the biggest new releases, make sure you check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/theknow or on our website at theknow.tv, and we'll see you there.
Thanks, Ashley. All right, after the break, we're going to take a look at another highly anticipated re-release. That and a whole lot more right after this.